Welcome to Let Me Sell Your House. Each week, 3 of Britain's top estate agents battle it out for the chance to sell properties up and down the UK.
Which part of the word optimum do you not understand?
I wouldn't believe a word that came out of your mouth in here.
They'll fight tooth and nail in a pitch to win the opportunity to sell a property.
It's a big mistake. You're taking a big risk.
You've shown that. You've really lived in there, haven't you?
And then the work begins.
You know and I know that £1,050,000 is not the value.
The winning agent will have just 3 weeks to sell.
I need to have a set of bloody details.
They'll use every trick in the book to flog the property, but if they don't succeed, the sale is opened up to one of their rivals.
I can already taste and smell the scent of success.
So here are our 3 agents. Let's meet them.
This property is on the market for £100 million, and I think it offers fair value.
First up, it's Trevor Abramson, the undisputed property king of North London.
We're not selling to automatons, we're selling to people. My job is to find their G-spots.
Trevor's company, Glentree Estates, sells exclusively to the UK's most high-profile clients.
When these hands don't work, I don't earn, and when they do, I do. Simple as that.
In a career that spanned nearly 40 years, Trevor's sold £3 billion worth of property.
Low-lying fruit is cheap and available. I aspire to be the most expensive fruit.
Having bought and sold property for the likes of Ringo Starr and Bernie Ecclestone, Trevor is confident he will win this competition.
I'll run round the track with the fastest runner and I'll beat them. And the day that I can't, I'll hang my boots up.
Estate agency is very similar to archery. You've got to have a real eye for the bullseye.
Next up, it's Amy Dixon.
It's my only job in life is to juggle. Juggle being a mum, juggle working, looking after the team. That's all you have to do.
Her patch is the city of Stafford in the West Midlands. Amy is one of the rising stars of the game, winning the coveted Young Property Woman of the Year award, aged just 29.
I love property, so an estate agency is my absolute heaven.
Amy's company, Dixon & Co, only recently moved into sales, but soon became the fastest growing business in the area.
I'll come over Friday morning, 9:30, and give you a value on it.
She may work in a male-dominated industry, but Amy can do battle with the best of them.
Yes, I'm very tough. I am very used to being a woman in a man's world, but ultimately I think the most successful people in the estate agency are women, and I'm going to give these guys a real good run for their money.
In the estate agency world, I am the Lone Ranger.
Last but not least is Tim Day, the self-styled King of Kensington.
Tim Day is an estate agent. This is what he does for a living. It's what he does best.
Tim's been selling in London's poshest borough for 15 years and started his own agency in 2008. Tim Day & Co.
Am I a winner? Well, I do win continually. All right, sir. Thank you so much. All right. The best way to sell something is for it to sell itself. So this is bedroom 2.
Tim knows that in estate agency, image is everything.
I try and have a little bit more flamboyance in my fashion, all part of the Tim Day Inc. package that a vendor gets.
To be the best, Tim's more than happy to turn on the charm.
I have a very good rapport with slightly older ladies.
And this entrepreneur will do anything it takes to win.
Watch a masterclass in the craft of estate agency.
Our first property is in Canary Wharf, where the agents are off to see a spectacular flat. This 3-bedroom duplex apartment is showered in daylight, thanks to its elegant floor-to-ceiling windows. This 1,750 square foot property overlooks the skyscrapers of London's financial district. Our agents need to pay close attention because soon they will be entering a pitch battle to win the right to sell this flat.
Incredible view.
Just beautiful.
The property's stunning views impress our agents, but it's not long before they disagree.
I can see that you come from a two-dimensional world, so I'm going to give you another dimension. If you took this space and made it into a bedroom, you could have a fourth bedroom or much bigger first and second bedrooms. What about those apples?
The idea about an exclusive property is that it has grandeur to it. You take away its grandeur, you take away its value anyway.
You wouldn't increase the desirability. I think it'd be a big mistake.
I would liken Tim to be a prawn sandwich from M&S. You know what you're getting. It'll fill the gap. Is it a gastronomic meal at the Gavroche? No.
The guys are a little bit insecure. They need to have a little nitpick at each other.
Trevor always has an issue with overcomplicating things. His weakness is my strength.
The agents are ruthless in their inspection because in order to sell the property, they must know its weaknesses as well as its strengths.
This is a great space, guys.
Disappointed in the furniture here. It's very basic IKEA, basic bedding, and the artwork B&Q style off the shelf. We're trying to sell an aspiration here of modern urban living. The difficult conversation to have with someone to say their furniture is pretty cheap. I am definitely the man to sell this property without a shadow of a doubt. I'm all over this like a rash.
There are some challenges involving its marketing, its competitors out there, but I'm absolutely ready for that challenge and I'm sure I'm going to nail this.
I can already taste and smell the scent of success.
The next day, our agents gather at their HQ, ready to do battle. They must now meet the owner of the flat and pitch their hearts out to win the right to sell their property. The power is in the hands of 37-year-old mother of two, Maria Gary. Maria is hoping for a quick sale to follow her dream of buying a house with a garden for her growing family. But which of these agents will impress her the most?
Hiya. Trevor.
Hello.
I'm looking for passion, hunger, that they really want this, that they can do it. And it's a big task.
Time for a one-on-one chat and the chance to butter up the vendor.
Can I just say, Mary, first of all, a pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you too. It's nice to see a lady as well today.
Absolutely. Got to represent us.
I think we're all blown away by that amazing entrance.
It smacks you straight in the face.
It's a real home, isn't it? And you've shown that. You've really lived in there, haven't you?
People are my business.
You get Tim Day and company, and that's what you're getting.
I think they're all strong individually. It's going to be a really hard decision.
The agents must now get down to business and convince Maria that they're the ideal candidate to sell her flat. First up, it's Kensington guru Tim Day.
I am totally committed and motivated to find a buyer for a property. I understand the profile of the buyer who will buy your property. I speak their language. Day one, if you instruct me, I will be there to start the process.
What I liked about it is that he said he's prepared to roll up his sleeves and really get in there.
The aspect of the bedrooms where we could try and improve some of the soft furnishings, quality of the furniture, just to maintain that consistent feeling throughout the property as one shows around a buyer.
Next to pitch is North London real estate icon Trevor Abramson.
Maria, do you want a young buck to handle your most important tax-free asset, or do you want the experience of someone that's used to, has a reputation? The same price as a Ford Taurus, you can have a Ferrari.
He's an old hat, he's skilled, and he has a lot of experience.
I'd probably recommend showing the property at dusk, because I think that sunset on the London skyline could really be very dramatic.
Finally, Midlands-based property whiz kid Amy Dixon.
I plan to create some short particulars which I will take directly into the companies that surround you.
I can't imagine these guys getting in there and getting anywhere with the financial boys.
She's very different from the other two. She's very unique in her marketing strategies.
We've got to drive so much harder than the regular routes of just doing viewings in the dusk. It's got to be a full all-round service.
The agents have pitched, but there is one final piece of the puzzle left. They must reveal to Maria what their asking price for her property would be. This figure could make or break their chances of winning the sale. Coming up, it's crunch time for our agents.
I am going to choose.
And things take a turn for the worse for Maria.
That's my home. my biggest asset, and it's just not acceptable.
Britain's top 3 estate agents have viewed a stunning flat in East London.
Just beautiful.
And now owner Maria must decide which one of them will sell her property. But first, the agents must reveal their asking prices. Maria's ideal price is £1.3 million. But the agents don't know this. Neither do they know each other's prices. And the agents aren't allowed to change their asking price after they've heard their competitors.
Maria, let me start. My recommended asking price is 1.375 million. I think it would be a danger to go above that figure.
My price on your beautiful apartment is £1.2 million, fixed price, no offers.
Maria, I've been in this business for many years and I've never ever had a fixed price asking price. It's a big mistake. You're taking a big risk.
I would put a price of 1.35 million. I will get the best offer I possibly can as close to that figure. I just sit there and I gnaw like a dog with a bone. I gnaw away until the bone is finished.
The agents have done everything they can. It's decision time for Maria.
You're all fantastic estate agents, the best, 3 of the best in the country. I am going to choose Tim.
I'll go to.
Congratulations. He really wanted it, and for me that's a big thing, and I think he'll work hard and he'll deliver some good results.
I am the right man for this particular property, absolutely. It feels excellent to get one over Trevor, to be brutally honest.
But the best man lives to fight another day, doesn't he?
Tim's got just 3 weeks to shift the flat, but if he doesn't, Maria can pick one of his rivals to try and steal the sale. It's day 1 of Tim's sole agent selling period, and he wastes no time getting to work marketing the property.
That's nice against the window, that's really good.
Tim is especially keen to explore the local area so that he can live and breathe Maria's property.
The nightlife on the week is like being in the West End on a weekend night.
It's not long before Tim's hard work starts to pay off and potential buyers are interested in the flat.
In relation to the property at Bissenden Quay, what is realistically the vendor looking for on this one?
I think we're reasonably sensibly priced where we are. My clients are keen to find a buyer quickly.
Okay, fantastic. Leave that with me and I'll definitely come back to you.
Okay, very cool. Nice to talk to you.
Likewise. Thank you very much.
Thank you, mate. That call was really about trying to create sort of encouragement to hopefully generate a viewing.
The buyer is interested and Tim hosts his first viewing.
How about that for a view?
It's fantastic, really is something special.
As soon as you come in, it's this amazing kind of volume, double height ceiling. Through to the master bedroom. Again, really good size. I try not to be too pushy. I don't do that kind of full-on hard sell in your face. You know, people know what they want. They can be guided, but they can't be pushed.
Tim's seasoned sales technique has taken years to perfect. And every top agent has their own particular approach to bagging the buyer.
At the end of the day, estate agent patter will only get you so far. Putting the property in front of the right people and letting people make their own informed choice is a modern way of estate agency.
You need to be persistent but know when that is appropriate to be so.
The Yanker theory tells us that you need to coax the fish into the net or into the boat.
But not even the best salesman in the world can outwit the market, and it seems that the asking price on Maria's flat could be too high.
Yeah, I do have to think about the price. I've looked at some other properties and I just really need to get a feeling for the actual true value.
At asking price is £762 per square foot.
Tim's anxious to drum up some more viewings, but he's beginning to worry that the current price might be driving buyers away.
The price where we are at the moment, you know, my concern is that going to be competitive enough for what's on the market in the building at the moment?
Tim decides to visit Maria to see if she is comfortable with the price reduction.
There are 2 other properties on the market of this similar size. That's been on the market since May. Okay, so it hasn't sold yet.
Yes.
Looks like a nice apartment, very trendy, very modern finish. With respect, probably a better finish than here. Okay.
Don't know if I agree with that.
I have slight concerns that this property hasn't sold yet.
I just found out that next door to us, that's identical to this apartment, they bought within the last 8 months, and they bought theirs for 1.5 million.
I can't find any evidence of that sale of that property next door, because that's a really amazing price that's been achieved. If I was given the best case scenario of a price to market this property, I would probably tuck it just under 1.3, 1.295.
So for me, I think that's going to be too low. All these guys are more expensive than we're selling for. This one here for 1.3 is a 2-bed. This is a 3-bed.
Tim is now in a position no estate agent wants to be in. Unable to bring the vendor down on price, he knows that potential buyers will be discouraged. But 2 days later, he has a stroke of luck.
So I've got an offer. It's just come in by email. It's low. It's £1 million cash. They're kind of hustling. I mean, £1 million is ridiculous. And the asking price of the property is 1.375.
Tim takes the offer straight to Maria.
Well, I've got an offer.
Excellent.
The bad news, it's very low, okay?
Right.
The offer is £1 million cash for the property.
Right, okay. It is lower than what I need at the moment. I'd really like to fight to see if we can just get it a little bit closer to the asking price if possible.
I think the property now, having lived it, breathed it, spoken to many, many people, done viewings, I think it's worth less than 1.3. That's my opinion. We may differ on it, okay? I can see you're disappointed in your face. I'm suggesting this because it will make a difference.
Yeah, I'll think about it and get back to you. It's difficult because my home, you know, it's where I live and my children live here, and it's really personal. So it's something that I can't just make a hasty decision about something like that.
A couple of days later, Maria reluctantly agrees a reduction, taking the asking price down to £1.315 million. But then, disaster strikes. The flat next door is repossessed and sold at a cut-down price. Tim summons Maria to break the news.
The property on the left-hand side of you sold for £1 million.
That's a repossession.
The problem we've got is when I had the viewing yesterday with the buyer, they had the details of that property in their hand.
Yes, but mine's is not a repossession, so it should go for the right price.
I believe now that the price of the property is probably below 1.25. When we last met, I said parameters of 1.2 to 1.3.
So 1.25. So we're going lower.
What is your bottom price?
That's it.
1.315 is your bottom price?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. If I show somebody around a property and they're saying next door sold for £315,000 less, yeah, it ain't going to happen, Maria.
How many times can we drop this price? You know, that's my home, my big asset, and it's just not acceptable.
Unflappable, Tim continues to do all he can to sell the property.
Okay, so come on in.
But the price is just too high, and the buyers are jumping ship.
I think it probably is slightly overpriced at its current level.
There's only a few days left until the competition opens up. Maria will be able to choose a second agent to sell the property alongside Tim. Hoping to get picked, the agents check out Tim's progress so far.
They're beautiful photographs, but there's a lot of competition out there for him and it needs to be priced more competitively.
Oh, I've got a definitely better chance. I think maybe Tim is looking in 2 dimensions and I'm looking in 4 dimensions.
Coming up, things go from bad to worse in Canary Wharf.
you know, I put my hand up in the air and say, I've made a mistake.
Our agents lock horns in property number 2.
You're saying we're knuckleheads?
You could be a knucklehead, but you wouldn't be because I'm too polite to say so.
Top estate agent Tim Day has been chosen by flat owner Maria to sell her property. He's got just 3 weeks, or Maria can choose one of his rivals to try and sell it as well. But client and agent just can't agree on price.
It ain't gonna happen, Maria.
With just 6 days left, Tim tries one final time to lower the price.
Local estate agents are saying this property isn't worth 1.3 million. I thought it was worth more, but it's not.
Tim, at the end of the day, the evaluations are based on what you initially calculated.
I've overvalued the property, okay? You know, I put my hand up in the air and say, I've made a mistake. I do believe that that property selling next door for £1 million has potentially taken about £50,000 of value out of this property. My best case scenario would be a price reduction to 1.25 million.
Regarding the price reduction, I'm going to have to really think about it again because it's another reduction.
I'm afraid to say that Maria is being unrealistic. I need to take some responsibility for that. But equally, you know, I need to find a part of this property, and at the moment we're asking too much money for it. And that's a fact.
It seems to be all he comes over to tell me is to drop the price. And I'm not sure. I'm feeling that possibly I may have to get another estate agent in.
Tim's out of time. He's failed to find a buyer within 3 weeks. The competition is blown wide open to one of his rivals. And Maria has chosen North London property colossus Trevor Abramson, who's been waiting on the sidelines, ready to unleash hell. Maria wastes no time putting him to work.
The real value is something between 1.1 and 1.15.
The lowest taking price I think I'll be comfortable with would be 1.2.
607 is the average, made up by 4 recent sales, and you want £684 a square foot.
Well, we're facing the water, we're facing the front.
But the others have got...
The others might be facing the back. We're duplex.
I want to anchor you to the ground.
We can get a little bit more, but...
I can't really help.
Maria has backed Trevor into a corner. He simply isn't prepared to market her property at a price any higher than 1.1 million.
We're taking an overladen ship into choppy waters, and we need to lighten the ship.
Despite Trevor's advice, Maria's still anxious to aim for the highest possible value. So a few days later, she gets back in touch with Tim, who wants to market her flat at just over 1.2 million.
I'm really excited now because that's really going to sort of stimulate the market. So that was Maria on the phone, and she's finally agreed to the price reduction, which is brilliant. So we're now marketing the property at 1.215 million. It's the right price.
Tim's price reduction has an immediate effect and sparks renewed interest from buyers.
Well-fitted kitchen, oven both here and here. We have bedroom number 2. It represents good value.
Yeah, it does. Compared to other areas of London, it does indeed.
The next day, Tim has some good news for Maria.
Hello,
Hi Maria,
how are you?
Nice to see you again. We've got 2 interested parties.
Fabulous.
Both who've offered at 1.1 and who seem to be interested in potentially increasing their offers. My target is to achieve 1.175 million.
Okay, Tim, you know what? Let's go with it.
Miraculously, Maria has agreed to follow Tim's advice.
Tim's gone to make a phone call to the buyers. I'm not going to get too excited. I'll let him come back and see what he says.
For such delicate negotiations, Tim requests privacy from the cameras.
Hey!
Hiya.
Has he done enough?
Maria, we have agreed to sell at 1.175 million.
Excellent!
Tim has pulled it out the bag and got an offer of £1.175 million, making it the highest pound per square foot property sold in the building to date.
I'm feeling really good right now. I feel I'm a step closer to my dream home.
Today is a victory for the little guy, the one-man band, the Lone Ranger. Times like this, I like to have a cigar. Here's to Trevor Abramson. Sorry, buddy, but I nailed you this time.
Back at their HQ, our agents get a chance to debrief on the sale.
I came, I saw, I conquered.
Where's my credit then? You bamboozled her with all manner of statistical evidence which thoroughly confused the client, and I needed to untie the tangles.
I thank you for your conversation, Maria. It helped to a degree, but really the hard work was very much delivered by myself.
Kicking the ball 3 feet into an open air is not quite negotiating the ball from your side all the way through the pitch.
It's 1-0 to Tim Day. And, you know, it's not easy being on the losing side. I understand that.
I'm glad you've won this. I'm glad you're 1-0 up because you're going to need it.
Let's see what happens in the next property. All to play for. Bring it on.
Next, the agents off to the leafy suburb of Esher in Surrey. They'll be inspecting a beautiful 5-bedroom detached house. This 2,500 square foot home boasts 5 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms, 2 reception rooms and a conservatory. This impressive property is part of a gated community and is minutes from the hustle and bustle of Esher High Street and the exclusive Sandown Racecourse.
Oh, wow. You can see how this family live now. You can see that they live in the rear of the house.
You've got a concealed system, which is good.
Look at that. Absolutely fabulous.
This lovely house has charmed our agents, but to complete their forensic analysis, they must spot any imperfections. And unsurprisingly, our alpha agents aren't in agreement.
I'll tell you what drives me mad. These cupboards, which look like woodcraft cupboards, they should go further up.
You know what, guys? It's a kitchen, okay? It's for making food, right?
Tim.
Can I just finish? Let me finish.
Not
It's
for making
important.
food. It looks to me to be bedroom 2.
Would you advise them to take a lot of the stuff and put it into storage whilst they sell it?
I don't believe people should change the way that they live to sell their property.
It's visual pollution, and when you get rid of it, you feel better, and when it's there, you don't realise what's irritating you. Amy and Tim, I would give the option to the client, but a knucklehead doesn't even mention it.
You're saying we're knuckleheads?
You could be a knucklehead, but I'm too polite to say so. It is a competition, and I can't fall asleep at the wheel.
Definitely the woman for the job. These guys are just playing.
Quite frankly, I love a challenge.
It's the day of reckoning at the agents HQ. They must meet the owners and put everything on the line in the pitch, but only one will be chosen to sell the house. The people making the decision are Simon and Anne-Marie Bevan, who have lived in the property for 4 years. They're looking to sell up and move to a house closer to their daughter's school.
Hello. Hello, good afternoon. I want a personable person that I can deal with, somebody that I can trust.
The agents will need to charm the pants off them.
Anne-Marie, Simon, what a pleasure it is to meet you.
It's a very desirable house.
Ooh, this is so wonderful.
Sounds like you had the same reaction that she had when we found the house.
You've got a good balance between bedrooms and bathrooms.
Perfect house for the horse-loving person.
I like to think out of the box when I'm selling property.
I want you to feel that warm satisfaction.
All estate agents are very different. They do things differently, and you have to find one that suits your style.
The agents must now deliver their strategies to Anne-Marie and Simon. First up, it's Amy.
Anne-Marie and Simon, I had a thought that we might produce some small brochures on your property and just literally hand them out, create some interest and talk to people about what it is that your property offers.
Amy's maverick idea of leafleting around the Esher area isn't well received.
If Amy were to send out flyers and postcards, as she mentioned, we would be the laughingstock of Esher.
Next, it's Trevor.
Anne-Marie Simon, I'd like to get a nice family to live in your home. Call it romantic, but I think there's time for romance in such a situation. So I would be honoured and privileged to act for you.
Well, Trevor, great personality, very bubbly personality.
Finally, it's Tim's turn.
Simon and Anne-Marie, there's a real danger here of being sidetracked by Trevor, the last of the new romantics. We need to hit the ground running by engaging with a group of local estate agents who are already on the ground, who already have knowledge of the area and already have buyers on their books.
Tim, lovely guy, very modern.
Tim's strategy is fine, I fully understood it.
Now the agents must reveal their asking price. Whether they're chosen or not could rest on this figure. Anne-Marie and Simon have an ideal asking price of £1.295 million. But the agents don't know this, nor do they know each other's figures, and they can't change their suggested asking price on hearing their competitors.
My asking price is £1,075,000.
My asking price is £1.3 million. I think it's an exceptionally strong product.
My asking price is 1.45 million. Now, I'm not actually expecting you to achieve 1.45. I would have thought that figure could be anywhere between 1.25 and 1.45.
Anne-Marie and Simon must now come to a decision.
Tim, Amy, Trevor, and the decision is that we're going to use Trevor to sell the house.
Well done, Trevor.
Well done, Trevor.
He came across as being entirely confident of delivering what we're looking for.
As far as I'm concerned, they've given me the task, and I'm going to do the best I can.
Coming up, Tim is less than impressed with the Isha marketing.
One of the most basic things that you can do as an estate agent is to make sure the package, the product, is presented at its best.
And the pressure's on for Trevor.
I'm having a big effigy of you built with the word plonker underneath it.
Three of Britain's leading estate agents battled it out to win the right to sell a beautiful house in Isha. Veteran agent Trevor Abramson came out on top.
Well done, Trevor.
Well done, Trevor.
He now has just 3 weeks to try and sell the house, or the vendor can choose one of his rivals to sell it to. Trevor rolls up his sleeves and gets to work in Isha. He explores the local area to get a feel for its potential.
I was struck by the leafiness.
There is loads of trees and that around here.
Trevor knows that local knowledge is key, so he enlists the help of some nearby agents.
Ian!
Trevor, how you doing? Really looking forward to working with you.
Wonderful, Ian. You're a star. Thank you. If I go to a challenge, I deliver.
But Trevor has second thoughts about his asking price. 1.45 million may have sounded good in the pitch, but he's not convinced it's going to get the buyers in.
To win the pitch, you have to put a price that will entice the clients. That runs completely contrary to the ability to sell the property quickly.
He summons Anne-Marie and Simon for the difficult task of asking them to bring down the price by £250,000. But if anyone can deliver bad news, it's Trevor.
Come, please sit down. Thank you for choosing me. We're going to move this thing as fast as we can move it, given the constraints of time and the marketplace. I'm wondering if we changed strategy, just a suggestion, and put it offers in excess of 1.2.
At a drop of £250,000, Trevor will need something major to sweeten the deal.
Here is a pen, which I'd like to give to you. If you slip the back of this pen over, you will see a self-inking pad.
I think that's fantastic.
Oh my God, that's fantastic.
That is brilliant.
It must be a hell of a pen, because Anne-Marie and Simon are completely convinced of this change of strategy.
That sounds all right. What do you reckon, Simon?
Yeah, I mean, top down, bottom up.
Yeah, bottom up.
Bottom up might suit the market better.
He's an absolutely charming person, full of charisma, hugely influential, highly networked. Put that all together in a focused package, I'm quite sure he can do the business for us.
Trevor's package has impressed Anne-Marie and Simon. With 11 days left of the 3-week selling period, Trevor's plan begins to pay off. His sub-agents have conducted 4 viewings and one of them has led to an offer.
You know and I know that $1.05 million is not the value. The fish is too far out. It needs teasing in. The teasing process has already started. Imran, that's great, and I can sense you're a man of action.
Trevor takes the offer straight to Anne-Marie and Simon.
The original offer was $1.05 million. I naturally, as you'd expect, rejected that. He has now increased his offer to 1.1.
I think the offer is way, way off the mark.
I don't want you to be concerned. The strategy's working.
I'm not overly worried at the moment if I know that there's people coming through the door in the next 2 or 3 days.
Well, I promise you that I will do my absolute utmost.
The pressure's on. If we don't see large numbers coming through the door by Friday, then Trevor's going to have to sit down and write a report. Why not?
I'm going to quote Churchill, if you don't mind. The hour before dawn is the darkest hour.
Over in Kensington, rival agent Tim Day checks out Trevor's marketing of the Esher property.
Unbelievable. What a load of nonsense. I'm not going to mince my words. It just looks a bit crap, to be honest with you. He's letting the vendors down. He's been given a property to market, okay? And I'm sorry, one of the most basic things that you can do as an estate agent is to make sure the package, the product, is presented at its best.
Up in Stafford, Amy is similarly critical about Trevor's progress.
I'm pretty disappointed with the advertising. I think he'd be very lucky to sell it off this advertising alone. Let's hope there's more going on.
Trevor isn't best pleased. Having delegated the marketing to the local agents, he now needs to express to them his dissatisfaction.
I'm having a big effigy of you built with the word plonker underneath it. Anne-Marie and Simon are not happy with the photographs. For instance, I can tell you they've now been corrected. Did you send me those details? Because I need to have a set of bloody details and an EPC. Come on, what's wrong with you, leaden-footed?
Despite his efforts, no more buyers come through the door, and Anne-Marie and Simon call a crisis meeting.
Okay, so with 2 days to go then, Trevor, any changes that you might be thinking about, or is the game plan still good?
I don't know, Anne-Marie, if your mother was a good cook.
She was an excellent cook, yes.
Well,
Where are you going now?
No, I'll tell you, you can lick the bowl by all means, but don't judge the recipe quite yet.
Okay.
As far as I'm concerned, I'm full of fight to the very end. And we haven't got to the end yet. We're still work in progress.
That's what we want to hear, Simon. Work in progress.
I've heard it all my life.
Trevor's out of time. He's failed to find a buyer within 3 weeks, and the competition is blown wide open to one of his opponents. Anne-Marie and Simon have chosen Amy to enter the fray. She's been chomping at the bit for a go at selling the property and races down to Esher to get started.
What have you felt about the marketing of your property?
There have been no fresh pictures taken. The pictures that are on the internet on Rightmove are my pictures, our pictures that we took 4 years ago when the house was newly built.
I'm here to save the day. We're going to sell this house now.
Amy wastes no time getting her photographer on the case to market the property in her own way.
That's what I'm talking about.
She then hits the streets of Esher to get familiar with the local area.
I don't know anything about the area at all. Tell me what you know about it.
I think it's quite a lot of young families.
Okay.
Back in North London, Trevor is feeling the pressure of his opponent joining the competition. An initial offer of 1.1 million was rejected by Anne-Marie and Simon. With Amy hot on his heels, Trevor manages to raise it to 1.175 million. But at 25,000 less than what the vendors want, can he convince them to accept it?
Now, Simon, let me ask you this. What happens if they won't go up because they think that they've gone to value?
That's going to be on too low.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, they need to be dragged up a fair old way, yeah?
All right, Simon. Well, look, work in progress. We're fighting, we're pushing, we're doing whatever we can.
Okay, brilliant stuff, Trevor. Keep it going.
A few days have passed since Amy's marketing campaign has got underway, but unfortunately it's resulted in just one viewing. She phones Anne-Marie to break the news.
Hi Anne-Marie, how are you? Yeah, I'm good, thank you. I'm just calling with some rather belated feedback from the viewing on Saturday. They've been dilemmaing over it. It's not totally struck off their list, but they need to continue shopping, I think, to compare it. So fingers crossed there's another one coming. I am working at maximum tilt anyway, so yeah, I'm afraid this, you know, it's only time will tell now.
One more week passes and interest in the property has dwindled. Anne-Marie and Simon decide to call in Trevor and Amy to find out why.
I've got some research. I think probably value would lie here somewhere between 115 and 112, somewhere between the two, rather than in excess of 112.
I have to say, Trevor, it's a little bit disappointing that you've done the research at the end rather than at the front end of all of this. So, you know, I'm actually sat here very disappointed, actually.
I felt too much respect for you because I wanted to achieve for you the price that would have pleased you.
I actually think it needs bringing off the market and putting back on after the new year with a regular price.
I disagree entirely with Amy about the strategy, 100% right, and I wouldn't change that.
I mean, Trevor's approach is hands-off. A lot of it has been delegated to local estate agents. A little bit disappointed in terms of some of the presentation of the house in some of the local estate agent type leaflets. When you compare to what Amy did on her website, I'd have to describe Trevor's pictures and wording of this house as very uninspiring.
I can't defend photographs because photographs speak volumes. So you have to have good photography, no defence. But unless you close, unless you get fusion, you won't do a deal. And that's what I specialise in.
The situation is frustrating for Anne-Marie and Simon. And with the Christmas holidays approaching, they decide to take the house off the market and try again in the new year.
This particular house, the price wasn't the issue, it was other points. So, you know, it's the wrong time of the year, very few people around, and in a simple numbers game, the number didn't turn up.
I really do believe that if I'd been on this property from day dot, we'd have a sale on our hands.
They deserve to sell it well, and I'm sorry I didn't preside over a successful sale.
With the house off the market, the agents gather at their HQ to discuss what's happened.
Is this not the case, Trevor, that you came in with a ridiculously high valuation to win the instruction and then almost on day one get the price reduced to 1.2 million?
In the absence of time, I thought I'll leave that concept until a later stage when I can properly explain it.
If this property had been done correctly from the start, people would have come in with a different attitude towards it.
The problem was in the time given, there was too much stock on the market.
It seems like there's always an excuse. There's too much on the market, it's overpriced, it's underpriced.
I'm going to quote King Lear, I shall do such things, I know what, but they shall be the terrors of the earth.
Sounds as confusing as your marketing strategy. You've got a lot to show now, Trev. You've got to step up to the plate.
I welcome the contest. Let battle commence.